Hi guys, welcome to a Cosmic Conversation podcast. Yes, another one with me, Marie.
And me, Tina.
Today our location is just outside the village of
Zebeku.
and just over the road from the charity's land where the dogs live. Just at the foot actually of the Corina Mountains, isn't it?
Aye.
Beautiful day today. It's like a warm spring morning. So we'll just give you our location for now. And today, it's all on Tina because Tina today is going to do her top 10 of, what would you say, experiences, encounters?
Supernatural that I don't call super, but to most people they would be supernatural. We're going to be touching on remote viewing because there's a lot of it about. And also what I think to be the truest form of time travel that's happened to me.
Right.
That I'm going to try and explain.
Well, a couple of them, from my knowledge, we've talked about them before. But, listener, I'm telling you, this is going to be all new to me.
And a few of them I've kept to myself until now.
Which I'm very surprised that you've gone for it today. Yeah. But now I look forward to it. So, come on, guys. With me, let's start with... Are you doing it from 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
I'm going to count 1 to 10 because counting backwards, I'll probably get confused. Leaving 10 for the most talkable one.
Okay, all right then. So, number 1.
So, number 1 was a remote viewing of the moon that happened to me very, very recently. Now, I was watching Stephen Greer, and there's a brilliant channel called The Wild Files.
Yeah, it is. It is quite fun.
Yeah.
It's very informative and funny.
Yeah, but the thing was, I wasn't watching this particular episode about the moon. I was looking into remote viewing because I've done it in the past, but not of lately. And I went out walking the dogs just over there, actually, where we are. There's a path into the fields where the wheat grows, and I let the dogs off, and I was doing our usual mantra that we do for our wealth and our career.
Works.
Yes, which has been working. And I also added on one that Stephen Greer does, which is the I'm Nama. I did it a few times and then I stopped, and I wanted to... The thing was, actually, going back a few days, I put it in my mind that I wanted to remote view the moon. So I set it in motion a few days before, like every time I went to sleep, I envisaged the moon and exactly where it is in the sky when we see it at this time of day or night. We see 9 o'clock in the morning. I see it up there in the sky.
Yeah, we see it,
in broad daylight, in the sunshine, and then it goes off behind the mountains. So I was, visioning it like that. So on this morning, the third morning, I stopped. I looked up at the moon in the sky, in the daylight, 9 o'clock in the morning. And I closed my eyes, and then I saw it again in my mind's eye. And then I saw it in space. And all of a sudden, bam, I was on the moon. Wow. And it was, darkish, but like light, as if like the surface of the moon itself has some form of light, and which I've actually looked up today. Apparently, it's like glass and crystal and reflective.
Okay.
So there is a shimmer
reflective
on the moon, even though there is no such, light. So I was there. And what I wanted in mind was to go towards the dark side of the moon, which I presume was the dark side of the moon, or on the verge of, because in front of me I saw buildings.
Could you describe the buildings?
They look like airplane hangars are low to the ground, but they were made of like earth, like as if they were part of the moon.
Right, okay.
Like,
so
like we would make cob houses, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say, so they're part of the land.
And more roundy, not pointed structures
like the RAF.
But low to the ground, so I've got the feeling that they were just the doorway and everything else would have been below ground level.
Right.
There were also vehicles that reminded me of like beach buggy, quad bikey type things, but with like really round wheels.
Well, don't get me wrong, you mean they are round, aren't they?
Almost like balls.
Okay,
Like completely
all right.
round that would go all different directions, but
yeah.
but squash them a bit sideways so they were more ovally, but
Like
they
really
would,
inflated or you know.
like a yeah, I don't know, but not like straight like you would look at a tyre with two sides. They were
Right.
more
So
round,
circular in every direction.
almost circular. Yeah. So open top. There was also two large towers, one larger than the other, that reminded me of the Eiffel Tower, but without the wonky bits, sort of wider at the bottom, towards a point at the top, and then a very straight, like a metal rod that I would call an aerial.
An antenna, yeah.
Yeah, antenna sticking up, very straight, but looked more really solid, like a steel rod. I think that was more the bigger one. I don't remember seeing one on the smaller one.
When you viewed all this?
Yeah. I was about a quarter of a mile from the site. Now the thing was, there were beings there. There were obviously it
So
weren't
why you
human.
say what's wrong
They
here?
were reptilian looking.
Right.
They had tails that balanced them very thick at like the base of their
So
bum.
they
were
had
upright.
they had
They
legs.
had arms and legs, like joints that, like a shoulder ball joint thing, and then an elbow and long claw, like a lizard, you know,
Standing up. Like,
yeah, maybe like an iguana type thing. Didn't really see the heads that clear at that distance, if they were like pointy or, you know, actually had a long jaw or a face. It wasn't like a human face, obviously, but from that distance they weren't wearing clothes, it was just skin. But the thing was, they were all busy doing stuff. There was a couple at one of the buggies, a tractor going by.
Yeah, I was just gesturing it to go quick. Yeah, so they were, the skin was it reptilian?
Yeah. Scaly, I would say.
Yeah.
But remember, I'm from a distance of about, what, 500
You said a quarter
yards? I'm not
half a
sure
mile
how.
or whatever.
Yeah. So they were quite small, but I was stationary. Remember, I'm energy. I'm not a physical figure. They turned round the minute I got there, sort of the minute I appeared, and it was an instant. Because the minute I appeared, everything wherever I was standing, my body on that, there was no sound of. I was gone. There was no sound of where my body was. I couldn't hear traffic. No, I was there.
Yeah.
And they all sort of stopped what they doing, and they turned towards me. And at that point, I thought, shit, I was really scared. And whether it was the shock, I just came straight back out, and then I was like standing there
In the field.
and the dogs were just still sniffing, and then I was just like, shit.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and I was like, they saw me. That's because I saw them. So they are interdimensional, or that they can.
Do you think they were scared of you, or
No, I think they were surprised.
Oh, surprised.
I think they were surprised. They're like, what? It was just the way they all turned around at the same time. Like, it was like an instant. They sensed I was there. So they've got that sense that, you know, someone...
Was that the first time this had happened?
On the moon. I've never been to the moon before. No. I mean, I've remote view.
But didn't you say something that you'd heard somebody else had that experience, but after?
No, it wasn't the experience.
Oh.
It was actual... on this Wi-Fi, 3 days after that, I was watching, and it's sort of like things sync when I'm looking out for stuff, and, you know, like I'm telling the universe I need info on the stuff, and wham bam it came. And it must have been like whistleblowers, Area 51 workers, whoever it was. They explained exactly what I saw.
Yeah.
Maybe they was remote viewing. I can't remember, because I'm sure he said they saw. Yeah, he was remote viewing, I think, because he said he went right up to the windows. But I couldn't move. I don't know how to do that when I'm remote viewing. I'm just in one spot, and wherever it is, I'd like to have been closer, but where I started out was where I was, and that was it. And it lasted seconds. It felt like longer, but it was probably a few seconds. He did, and he said they saw him and they pointed.
Oh.
So yeah, that must have been a remote viewing. I thought it was maybe whistleblowers but I've looked at other ones that have been to the moon, and things that they've not supposed to have said that they saw.
This is quite recent.
Pictures that have been,
I remember that
out.
you actually called me while you was on the walk.
Yeah.
That you'll never guess what happened to me.
Yeah. So there you go. So that is number 1.
So Australian at number 2.
Now, number 2 happened to me. My kids Bradley was about 7, so he's 30 now. So we're talking maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be about 20 years ago. I was at home. I think I'd just met my partner then, Les. We was all sitting in our house in London.
Yeah.
I was heavily into meditating, and I was actually doing it on the sofa while he was watching TV or on his computer. The kids were upstairs playing on their Xboxes, whatever it was at the time. And I came out of meditation. What I was meditating on actually was about Mars and missions and trying to find out information that was unavailable to us.
To the mere mortal.
Yeah, I had my laptop right beside me. I'm sitting with my legs crossed, like up on the sofa. Came out of meditation and immediately wasn't even sort of that conscious, but came out of meditation, picked up the laptop, which was like on sleep mode, so quickly woke it up just with a tap, and then just tapped a load of letters and numbers, of which I have no idea. Up on the screen came NASA's, and it said like an internal memorandum thing. So I think it's like a message, an internal message to another one. So years ago when I worked in an office, I used to work in a post room, which will come to another story later. And we used to just, when you do internal, they used to go in an envelope and you'd hand it to the person. It's somewhere else in the building. That was it.
Yeah.
I was like the postwoman. And
so you got in touch with NASA?
Right, not in touch with, but I got onto something that I presume I shouldn't have.
Right.
And within an instant, it was just a white page with black typed writing, but there was a lot of like exclamation mark things. It was like in code.
I was going to say it was
but
a code,
there was a name at the top of the actual project, whatever it was. Well, it is actually a mission, and it was called Star something, which I'll come to in a minute.
So NASA, it was with NASA though.
So it was definitely NASA because it had the thing on it with the.
Don't their codes change or something?
Right, so.
Very quickly.
Yeah. When I got onto this, I saw names of astronauts. Basically, it was a mission to Mars.
Wow.
There were names of astronauts, and most of them weren't even English. They were Russian, maybe Chinese or Japanese, different, foreign spelt names in their own letters and stuff. And then a lot of it was coded, which I couldn't read. But this lasted seconds, because after that, the electric blew on the house. Everything went dark. This was night time.
Yeah.
So everything went into darkness.
This is UK?
Yeah. The kids have come running down the stairs. What's happened to the electric? Who turned the electric off? Les has looked up at me and he went, "What have you done?" I said, "Oh, I think I got into something I shouldn't have." Yeah. I'd gone back afterwards, and we would put the electric, flick the switch basically, like the major.
Just blew, yeah.
Flicked it back on, typed it in again, and it sort of came up and then it didn't, and then my computer just went really weird, started doing all this weird stuff. The electric didn't go off again, but I
What,
thought,
the screen flickering, or?
it was doing some, I don't know, it was like just, like the Matrix, running numbers and flashing,
going off.
flashing, and
yeah.
just like having a bit of an hissy fit. So I turned it off and I left it. I thought, I'm not going to try it again. But yes, I heard that they do change the codes like within every so many minutes. I don't know what happened there. And yeah, this.
So you penetrated a top secret
Without even
organisation.
knowing.
Yeah.
And the mission to Mars, I mean, through maybe psychic or I don't know, stuff I've read as well, they do have, you know, like from the UFO crashes, they recreate the technology. So I think they wouldn't have gone in a rocket and it had taken years. They would have used alien technology to get there. So it wouldn't have taken years. It would have taken maybe days, minutes, whatever. I've no idea. But I think that's what they're doing and that's what they've done. And this was 20 years ago. So whatever you see in mainstream, like, oh yes, we're doing this and sending things on Mars, it's crap.
It was already done and dusted.
We think, you know, the general public think it's just happened.
So you did this in your room in London, and basically what I reckon, because you'd penetrated it, whatever their system is of security or whoa, somebody's coming in, they send something that will just completely knock off, you know, that computer or that unit that's trying to get in.
And the thing is, they're working with the Russians, you know, and you see a lot like against the Russians, or that it's all uneasy. But all these secret. The thing is, I think they're all worried about the other one. They have to be together.
They do.
It's an uneasy
sort of relationship
situation, isn't it? That's like know thy enemy type thing, isn't it? Okay, so that's two.
So in at number, sorry I knocked you off then.
Yeah,
number three.
Number three, going back to when I worked in an office before mobile phones and stuff, I worked in a post room. I'm not going to say the architect's name because they do stuff for the RAF and the USA.
Government.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also across the globe.
Okay, so it's a well-known architectural business.
Again,
Can you say that?
Architects, that I'd say I was about 18.
Okay.
Now I'm 56. You work out the math because I can't. Yeah. So I was 18 years old, working in a post room. There were partners in the business that you never opened their mail. It was usually private. Certain names, you know, you got to know which ones.
Was it marked?
Yeah, some were, some weren't. But generally, if it was high up, I didn't open them.
So you had the authority to open mail,
yeah,
like normal mail, let's say.
All mail,
all mail to make sure that person knew it had come, or put it in tray or whatever.
Sometimes it was just letters, sometimes it was architectural drawings, you know, sometimes it'd come in a tube and I'd just check everything and it went to the right person. So one day we got a letter and I was flicking through them really fast with the envelope opener, whipped it open and then thought, oh, oops, I shouldn't have opened that one. So I'd opened it and then like realised the name on it. And I thought, oops, and I sort of read it.
I sort of read it, yeah. Okay, yeah. Whoops-a-daisy.
And it was a well-known project. It was a well-known project. I know I'm saying this now. This is the first time I've actually said this to the public.
Because you don't really want to mention names, do you?
No, I'm not going to mention any names. I mean, it's a long time ago anyway. Personal names I wouldn't even remember. Okay, what I saw shocked me because they were excavating for the USAF, United States Air Force, obviously digging, whatever they do. It was in Riyadh, which is, I don't know, is it Arabia or whatever you call it?
Riyadh,
Egypt,
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Is it Riyadh? R-I-D-A-D-H? DH, something like that. Is it in,
Radar or something?
no, it's Riyadh.
Riyadh.
In the desert. Anyway,
Okay.
it was in the desert, and it was supposed to have been a secret base they were building
Right,
for the
okay.
USAF. Okay, so it's a big place. Whether they did it actually or not after that, but where they were excavating the ground, there was a UFO crashed in the sand with bodies.
You found out after?
This was the letter that I opened.
Yeah, but you found out... Oh, it said in the letter.
It said in the letter, we're stopping all work now because we found a UFO crashed with alien bodies in it.
What, it said it in the letter?
Yeah, it did.
Blood.
I can't remember exactly. Like I said, I was 18 years old, you know, and it was a bit of a shock. So I sort of put the letter back in and, you know, I think I found another envelope and tried to steam it back shut. Like I didn't open it. I thought, all right, I'm going to leave it at that and put it away.
Nobody
And after
confronted
that, the project, I never ever got any more posts about that project. And so I presume they shut that down.
Right.
Straight away, and we never heard from them again.
Yeah.
So that was that story.
Well, can I just ask, was there anything else like it? Or was that... Sorry, I'm just having a flask of tea. Was there anything else that came through? Or was that
No.
the only one that you...
That was one letter.
sort of witnessed?
Yeah. I didn't open any more personal ones anyway. That was just a mistake. It was
But
just
like...
weird that maybe there were more and I didn't, but I think that was that because not even
Because
any
that was
plans.
a lead up, wasn't it? That letter was a lead up. And maybe the end of that correspondence.
Yeah.
So you'd been handling top
Yeah,
secret
Yeah.
intelligence to an architect and never knew, and just by chance you opened that one.
Yeah.
You were meant to. I always think
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a reason why you did.
Yeah.
But
And I never said anything ever. And, you know, I left the company. I was with them for like 3 years, I think.
nobody
And
questioned
moved
you?
on.
No?
No.
No, there was nobody like
No.
looked and went, that's been opened.
No.
No.
So other people do know about it. Obviously, these top people, and they are high up people. But
Yeah.
you never really got to see. So I never knew they were.
That information in that letter, do you know about it outside that age that you were, you know, at that time? Do you know about that situation?
No, not really.
No?
I mean, I was into meditating and I was into UFOs and stuff like I always have been as a kid. You know, I've been different. So maybe that's why it came to me, but I could have never have done anything
know what it
else because
reminds
it
me
wasn't
of?
my place.
Do you know what it reminds me of? You know when you get what do you call it? A magician, and
Yeah.
they go, was it? You look at the pack. I'm not saying it was magic or anything, but and you know, and this one card just comes out. It's as if you flicking through. You know, it was fate, weren't it?
Yeah.
Right, what we on now? Number 4.
Right. Yes, number 4 is a tarot story. I'd been doing tarot. I'd already been doing tarot then. I've been doing tarot since I was a kid, really.
Yeah.
Different types.
Who
of
got you into it?
cards. My mum bought me a set of Egyptian oracle cards when I was about 12.
All right.
14.
Was your mum into it then?
No, I wasn't. Years ago, you used to get like the book clubs on the back of the magazine.
Yes, you did.
You
And at
get
school.
your 5
And
for
at
a
school.
pound, wasn't
Yeah.
it? And then every month. So my mum, she knew I was into all this stuff, and she would get me all these books. So with these 5 books for a pound, in it was this board it was called the Osiris wheel.
Never heard of
Yeah,
that.
it's like an oracle thing, and that was my first sort of introduction to having cards. And then I bought my own cards. You know, most beginners usually get the Rider-Waite. I bought the Golden Rider, and these are the ones that I'm going to talk about now. So I bought the Golden Rider, which are the Rider-Waite, and they've got like a gilt gold edge into them. They're really nice. So I went to an old terraced house, which was a friend's, and we did like a tarot party, if you want to call it. I did about 5 readings.
Yeah.
Did a couple. When I did hers,
Sorry to interrupt you. This ain't the friend that was on the train, is it?
no.
No, sorry. Okay.
No. This lady is actually my aunt's friend. Her name was Jackie. If you're listening, Jackie, this was again years ago, before I had kids, so maybe I was around 20. She had a beautiful old terrace house. She was quite hippie. It was painted lovely. She had like the wooden floorboards, beautiful colours, cushions on the floors we sat on.
A great surrounding to do that.
It was lovely, yeah. And she'd had a few events in that house. So we picked one room that we thought was a good room. Then we sat down on the cushions. I laid the cards out in whatever spread it was, and started reading the cards. Then all of a sudden, something, I say, ran across the cards. We're both sitting opposite each other, you know, on cushions.
And they're on the floor.
On the floorboards, yeah. Something whooshed straight through between us, scattered the cards, because there was actually like a, you know, blew them all over the place. And we both sort of sat face to face like, what was that?
Yeah.
All I could do, how I've tried to explain it, was maybe a spirit, you're going to laugh, a spirit of a rat. But it wasn't a rat, because it wasn't, to me, something that was on all fours. It was something that was maybe sat on
and then
two.
Have you told this to anybody else?
Probably, yeah.
No, I'm just saying, has anybody gone, oh, it must have been a draft from the door or something?
No,
just to explain
we both saw it, whatever it was. Looking back afterwards, I thought, and I probably spoke to Jackie afterwards, I think it's what we call an elemental.
Can you explain that?
Which is like of the fairy realm.
Right.
She probably attracted a lot of those, because she did have, you know, a beautiful back garden, very nature, you know, nature loving person, very calm, and just a nice
years ago, a lot of the big
personality.
houses had like allotments in the
a
back
road,
garden and things like that, didn't they?
And she obviously had spirits and things, whatever it was in the house. But I think rather than ghosts, it was elementals that had been living there. Maybe if the house was empty before, they were still around, you know. And it was just the way that it went through. There was no draft. We had the windows closed. The door was closed.
Yeah.
You know, there was nowhere a gush of wind could have come from.
I'm not poo-pooing what you're saying, but you know when people are listening or you talk, you just.
No, it was a thing, and it was like almost transparent but visible. And I did get
you hadn't said that, yeah.
It did sound like
tippy tappy, like.
No, it was more of a whoosh, but it was like.
Wow.
How can I explain? Maybe like a flutter of wings. I don't want to, you know, make it sound like it was a fairy, but
not make it up,
but it was like a type of thing. So that was it, and we carried on doing the reading. Yeah, because for me, you know, like it's like wow, but she'd had a lot of things going on in the house anyway. I think like doors closing and stuff. I can't remember what she said. And I've always had things going on, you know, like, okay, whatever it was.
Welcome or hello.
You know, thanks. So I had to rearrange all the cards and remember where I'd put them all, you know, where I'd place them all. And that was
somebody trying to be like, it sounds like somebody was being a bit mischievous.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. That, you know, from what you're saying, you had to remember where they were.
Yeah.
So whatever or whoever was
it was
watching.
Funny.
Yes, that's how it sounds like to me.
Yeah, yeah. So that's number 4. We are now going on to number 5.
Okay.
Which, is it a remote viewing? You make up your mind. I don't know if I've told you about the helicopter crash in Biggin Hill.
Yeah, the cigar.
Oh, no, sorry. This isn't the Biggin Hill one.
No.
No, this is the helicopter crash.
Oh, on that club?
In the land.
Scotland?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was walking my dogs in London over Mudshoot Park and Farm, which is 23 acres of farmland. Walking the dogs.
Years ago.
And I was about 15 years ago, I think. Yeah, I was living in London then before I came here. So it was about 15 years, maybe just before I met Les. I can't remember, my partner. I let the dogs off the lead. And then I was just standing there, closed my eyes, and opened them, and all I was seeing was like fire, smoke, some sort of low-rise pub,
I know what it looked
and
like.
a helicopter crash. But the helicopter, there was nothing left. It was just smoke and fire and people screaming and ambulances and, you know, people injured. And that went on for maybe a few minutes. Now, don't know why it came to me, but was that me remote viewing? Because I was there a few meters away.
Yeah.
Just standing, you know, a few feet away from
the carnage that was
from
going on. Yeah.
the edge of it, looking at
And
it.
it did happen.
And everything was going on and I was just standing there watching
I
it.
watched it on the news. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so
that accident.
So what was that then?
If I can remember correctly, it was a helicopter, an airborne thing that went into. It was a flat roofed club.
Yeah.
Or a pub.
It was
I'm
a
sure
low
it was
rise.
a club. Yeah. And freak accident. And I'm sorry, I can't remember a lot of the details.
Yeah.
But when you'd said before about this, you just mentioned it, you know, in passing, about remote viewing. I was going, wow. Did you ever see the news after?
Well, the thing was, that went on, caught the dogs, went home. I just thought, I'm just funny episode. Used to that.
Yeah.
Let's have the news on, and it was on the news. So it had happened at that moment. So why would I remote view it, not wishing to remote view something like I was the moon? But why did it take me there at that time? What I never understand the why of things.
Yeah.
You know, when I've had predictions of disasters or things like that, I think, why tell me? Why show me? I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Why are you giving this to me? Why am I seeing this? And I still don't understand. Don't know why.
It's as if you were seeing
hunters, idiots,
Sunday.
shooting in the distance.
We're recording this on a Sunday, and it is the end of hunting season here, but as you can probably hear, it isn't for them. I can't explain why you would go there, but I believe whatever takes you to these remote viewings knows you can handle it. Do you get me? There are things that I've seen on films and people's accounts of things, mostly on films, I'd say, you know, that are from books or whatever, and the person's like traumatised for days, weeks, months. Was you?
No.
Can you see why I say?
Yeah, just move on to the next one.
That was number 5. Number 6 then.
Right, number 6 was using those Rider-Waite cards, the Golden Rider, is the first and only time I think I've ever predicted a death in the tarot. The death card doesn't mean death. It means, you know, one door shuts, another door opens. That's what I say. Ending to something, new beginnings.
Could it mean a birth or?
Yeah. Or a divorce.
Yeah.
It's always like a fate thing. It happens and then you leave that behind, you know, finish the relationship, start a new one.
So was you doing a reading for somebody?
I was doing a reading for a lady that I worked with in a court, and her sister was dying of, I think she had spinal cancer. She was heavily on morphine. I laid out the cards, and I got the 10 of swords and the 3 of swords, and they're both not very pleasant cards. The 10 of swords is like 10 swords in this guy's back laying on the floor, and the 3 of swords is like through a heart. It's like a broken heart. And straight away I had to say to her, the overwhelming feeling of, it was a horrible feeling. I said, someone's gonna die like tomorrow or tonight, because it literally just came up straight away, the first couple of cards.
The strong
and she knew
energy.
I mean, she was teary, and she explains that her sister's dying of cancer.
Yeah.
And you know, I did the rest of the reading, and the next morning she didn't come in. Her sister had died early that night, like during the night, early morning.
Hours,
She died of the morphine, you know, but we went through it after, you know, when I was doing the reading, you know, she'll be at peace, you know, it'll go quietly. And she did. And that was, yeah, the only time.
Have you ever predicted a tragedy?
During doing a personal reading?
Yeah.
No,
No.
not really. No.
No. So that was the
No.
one and only time that
Yeah.
it was.
And after that, I felt the cards were dirty. I didn't want to touch them. And
Really?
I tried actually like burning them, getting rid of them, and they wouldn't burn. And I ripped them up, threw them away, and bought a new deck. I don't want to touch that pack again.
Wow.
And then I bought a new set, and that's how I got on to other sets of cards. Yeah. Okay, so next one.
Yeah, number 7.
Number 7. Now, I don't know if anyone's noticed this. Watching Big Brother, I mentioned it to you. Stephen Baldwin, how many years ago was he on Big Brother?
Oh my God, that's a famous one. Yeah. God, I don't know. 10 years ago?
Yeah, I was
Easy.
watching it with a friend who I'm not a friend with anymore. Won't mention the name. It was a long time ago, it was.
Yeah.
That could have been 20 years ago even.
Do you reckon?
I don't know.
But anyway, it was years ago.
Yeah. So we was watching it live. I'm not a Big Brother fan, but she was, you know. I'm not into reality TV. I can't stand it. Stephen Baldwin was sitting on the sofa talking to someone. I think you said you even remember who he was talking to.
I think he was talking to the cage fighter. I thought it was Katie Price's ex.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if he was with her then.
But when he was really pushing the Bible, I think he even had a Bible in his hand. And then all of a sudden, his eyes clicked like sideways. And there was a reptilian moment. And I looked at my friend and we like, did you see that? And she said, yeah. So after that, the screen went black. And because it's live, it's like a few seconds ahead, isn't it? They cut it off and then it went off to something else and then came back to Stephen Baldwin, and he had dark glasses on, still sitting in the same chair, both of them, you know, talking about the same thing, but he now had dark glasses on.
Look it up. See if it's on YouTube.
I looked afterwards and tried to find it, and we couldn't find it anywhere where we could watch it again. But it 100%, it definitely happened. His eyes went across.
No way. So he had that reptilian sort of...
there was like the slit eyes, and then the eyes
went back,
blinked sideways type of thing.
Yeah.
And it was really creepy.
Wow. And that was on live.
So if anybody else saw that, please let me know. Cause, you know,
Send
I've
us
never
the
heard
link.
it. Yeah, because everybody puts these things on YouTube about reptilian and all these.
All the news
they
readers.
slow it down. But why was his just boom, gone? Like, and then he came back with dark glasses on.
I'm going to have a look myself.
And he said, why would he sit in the house with dark glasses on? You know, nothing was said about it, and they carried on. So that is number
7. So
7.
We're on number 8.
Speaking of reptilians, I'm going to carry it on with the now dead Queen of England.
Sorry, you said dead very weirdly then.
Yes.
But yeah.
Never been a royal fan.
No.
And this is probably why. Because I was young again.
Oh, I know
child.
this one. Yeah.
I was, obviously I've been into horses all my life, and was very lucky enough to go to the Royal Mews, whatever it was to do with horses, and saw the Queen's horses.
She's heavily
and
into all
stuff.
that, and she equestrian, the family, and they.
Yeah.
And
we face to face with the Queen. Those eyes were the blackest, darkest, most evil looking eyes I've ever seen in real life.
Can I get this in perspective? So she's an adult, obviously. How old were you? Under 10?
11,
oh,
12.
11. Right. So you're littler, you know what I mean, in stature.
Yeah.
You're shorter, so you're looking up at her, not straight into your eyes.
I get you. Yeah. Although it was a distance, it was like she didn't want to touch us anyway. I thought, I don't want to touch you either, love. But the eyes were black like a shark. There was no pupil, no colouring around a pupil.
She didn't put dark glasses on quick, did she?
No, they were just black, and I don't know if it was for a brief moment, but I couldn't look into them. Like I saw them, and I thought, shit, I can't look at her. Like, and then I just looked away, and it was a very, very, very brief meeting. It was like she couldn't be bothered, but we were there. And
can I just ask?
Yeah.
Did you look at her at any other time, and her eyes were normal? Do you get me? And then you looked at her at another point, and they were black.
No, because she moved on. She was just, there was I don't know, maybe 7 of us, 8 of us, and I never told anybody else, and no one else ever mentioned her eyes like that. Like none of the group that I was with.
Yeah.
You know, there was only a few of us, like I said. And then she moved along, sort of, you know, hello, and then fucked off, basically.
You mean went away?
Yeah.
You can get us banned if you want.
No, we won't. Because people are interested in our stories. All right, next one.
Number 9.
Oh, we're coming up to near the end. Right, this is lost time on a London tube. I used to work at Madame Tussauds. Got off at Baker Street. Same route every single day. One day, reading my book, and I missed Baker Street. I looked up, stopped before Baker Street. Thought, all right, I've got one more stop. It was packed, the train was packed. Carried on, I thought, all right, I can finish reading this page in my book. So I finished reading the page. When I looked up, I didn't recognise the station. I thought, this is not Baker Street. We was like 3 or 4 stops after, which I think it's like 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, I'd say 5 minutes after the trains pause, people get on and off between each stop. So I'm talking about 15 minutes had disappeared from my time.
Was you still on the same page? No,
Yes,
I don't mean that rudely.
yes.
I'm not having a joke
Exactly.
with that.
I was still at the bottom of that page, which I read really, really fast. I would have read a few more pages, but I was still there. So what happened to me then? Didn't fall asleep, but I looked up and it was a really busy station, and I can't remember the name of the station, but it was like a major station like Paddington, or where you got British Rail, so the tube comes in and you can get so I had to get off. I've got to get off the train, go back round, all the way round through to the other side and get the train back again, and was like a bit late for work. But where did that time go? What happened?
No indication that you saw anything, felt anything?
No, I was reading and I looked up, and then I saw it was a huge station and not Baker Street Station. And I thought, where am I? Where? And then, you know, I'm trying to look because of the crowds, looking through the window, trying to find the name of the actual station. And then I thought, oh.
So you lost 15 minutes
Yeah.
of your life?
Yeah.
And you
I've
have no
idea how I got
the
there.
only thing I can relate to that, I don't know if anybody else, is when I've been driving or walking, because I did a lot of walking with our dad. Hello, Doug. I did a lot of walking, and mostly I would say it was driving, and I didn't know how I'd got from one place to another.
Yeah, you go on autopilot. I've had that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that a lot.
Yeah.
And you're like, suddenly you're there and you don't remember the bit in between.
Hang on, yeah.
Yeah.
Where did I get, you know?
And that's usually when you do the same route every day.
Right.
But I was late.
Right,
so,
okay.
It wasn't like, how did I get here? I'd gone past. I knew that my next stop was my stop, so I would have sort of, okay, quickly read it, I would have shut up my book, put it in my bag and got ready to get to the doors to get off the train, because everybody makes a mad rush.
Did you fall asleep?
No, not that I know.
Well, that one's unexplainable, isn't it?
Yeah, because I was reading and I just like read the last word, shut the book up, and then the train was pulling in, and that was that. So, okay.
We come into the penultimate.
Yes.
Oh, I said that right.
Number 10.
Number 10.
Yeah, I've gone over this a million times. So, how many years ago was this? Again, beginnings of when I met Les. I was at university and doing 3 months semester, the Americans call it, term. and then you'd have like a couple of months off. And in that couple of months, I would travel to Cyprus, stay here, and then go back for the next
term. Was that with your mum and dad?
We was living in Lapta. I was there in Cyprus, experimenting with stuff that I usually do, you know, supernatural stuff. And I was playing with remote viewing. And when I went to sleep, I thought, I wonder if I can transport myself to the other side of the world, back to England. So I was concentrating on this. I was laying in my bed in Cyprus and I fell asleep. And when I woke up in England, in my bed in England. And
what, physically? Or
yes, physically. Woke up and I was so disorientated. I thought, oh fuck, I did it. Yeah, but when you're looking at me, right, this utter shock. What would you do?
Yeah.
Oh poo,
oh
dear,
darn. Oh dear.
It's like, oh my God, what did I just do?
Yeah. But you remembered that you were doing remote. That's what I'm saying. You woke up.
Yes.
And you went, hang on. Yeah.
And the thing was, I've like gone downstairs and I didn't know when I was. Because I thought if I'd have done it at the same time, then my daughter would have walked in and said, what are you doing here? Yeah. How did you get here? You know, and I think physical transportation is impossible. The only thing I could say was I went forward in time. So I fast forwarded. Since then, I've done that a lot. So I've learned how to do that. Fast forwarded to the point where I'd had to go back to go to university. Looked at the calendar, because obviously them days we had calendars on the wall. You didn't look at your phone. And yes, it was the time that I'd gone back. So I'd actually skipped maybe 3 weeks.
God. Yeah.
But to the kids, it was normal. You know, because they were doing what Charlie was going to work, whatever, you know. And I was just like, the whole day was just so disorientated. Oh, I've got to go to uni. And like, oh, I've got all my stuff and, you know, completely confused. And even the day went by and I'm like asking what was we doing? What were we doing today? Like, and then as the day got on, the memories came back. So
of your journey back? Or the
not so much
time here?
No, the time in between. So yeah, that them 3 weeks of everything that I've done, you know, on a day-to-day basis, your usual, you know, walking the dogs, going shopping, whatever.
Being with your mum and...
Yeah, but I don't remember the flight home. Don't remember that.
Right.
But that...
We'd all like to forget that sometimes, wouldn't we?
Yeah. That, to me, wasn't any type of remote viewing. That was time travel in its...
purest
natural form, but not so much jumping. Like I said, after that, and I was so annoyed with myself because I can't stand London, and I thought, oh, for crying out loud, why didn't I do it the other way round?
So
because
did you try?
When I went to bed that night, I was busting to get back to Cyprus. So I tried it day in, day out, or night in, night out, and I couldn't get back. I thought, oh, for crying out loud, I just want to go back to Cyprus now. And I was really annoyed with myself that I'd transported back to England. I didn't even want to be in England. I thought, what an idiot. Why didn't I do it the other way around?
As time went on, did you recall those 3 weeks?
Obviously, I lived it. I just think maybe I did fast forward. That's all I can think of. Would you call that time travel? I think I speeded up my life and everything else just caught up. You're at that moment in time. So other times I've done this, I don't really do it anymore because it's like wishing your life away, innit? But
reminds me of that that film with Adam Sandler.
Don't watch it.
You know, yeah, I know, but
remote. I've never seen.
And he, he uses it to speed his life up, or moments in his life, and then regrets it.
Yeah.
So similar sort of thing.
Maybe, yeah,
you know,
maybe, yeah. Like
that
the
you're-
theme.
No,
I'm trying to explain.
your feeling of when he like recants what's
Yeah.
happened. He goes, "Why did I do that? I've
Yeah.
missed out on so much."
So I did experiment with this now, doing slight changes, not like 3 weeks, but a couple of days where, you know, maybe the weather was bad, or maybe I was doing something that I really didn't want to do and I just want to get over that. Or a period when I had no money, and then it's going to be payday, because I was sick of not having any money and living on beans. And what I imagined in my head was, say like, for instance, okay, today, what's today, Sunday, maybe I want to get quickly to Tuesday because we're doing something Tuesday. So what I would imagine in my head when I'm, you know, going to bed, meditation, I would do it more than a few times and then do it again when I'm going to bed. So when I do things like that, like with remote viewing, I put the intention out a few days before, keep doing it, and then when I'm actually ready, you know, and I think I'm in the right mindset, I will do that. Is literally, imagine me doing my day stuff, you know. In the mornings I get up, I walk the dogs, I go to university, go to Asda's afterwards, get me shopping, feed the kids, go to bed, wake up, and then I imagine fast forward, like as if you were watching a movie and you pressed fast forward and you're seeing it going fast forward in it, and then get to that point and like stop and then just play it normal. So I did that a few times. Did it
so
when I
you
went to
are
bed.
the controller.
Yeah.
You get me? You're
And it
setting
worked.
that.
It worked.
Oh, right, okay.
It worked, definitely. And I've done that a few times. But I stopped doing it because, yeah, you're like wishing your life away, ain't you?
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, I've only just thought about this. Could you go back? If I can go forwards, can I go back?
Well, can you go?
Can I rewind?
Oh, can I get a rewind?
Yeah. And then I thought, even like, you know, if I went back to like my mum having a stroke and dying, would I change it? And I actually, anything that's happened to me in the past, I don't think I would change.
I think it's a very slippery slope to change things, because then it changes what you are now.
Yeah.
And not always for the better.
Exactly. So I wouldn't want to meddle with that, and no, I wouldn't do that. But I reckon I could, but I wouldn't.
Can I just ask you this question about that? Do you take anybody with you? And what I meant by that is you're doing it, you're fast forwarding, right?
No.
Does anybody else have any inkling that that's happened?
No, because it's my consciousness that's woke up in a different time.
Right. So have you had any... So I presume you're just going to say no now, but have you had anybody going, God, ain't the time going quick?
Yeah.
Can you understand? Like,
Yeah.
they're part of it because they're in your life.
Mm.
And your consciousness.
Yeah.
They are in your consciousness, right?
But we all say it, don't we? Or time
And
drags.
today gone quick,
Yeah,
like that, you
yeah.
know. Where's the time gone?
Yeah.
Because it does. I don't care what anybody... I believe, you know, when you look... you know, we're pretty good at, like, guessing what the time is, and that's probably more so because we're in the countryside, the outside, and we can tell the day.
Yeah.
Can't you? But genuinely, I just wondered if anybody turned round to you and go, do you know, it don't seem like 5 minutes, it was Sunday.
Yeah, so what I thought I was doing, I didn't transport at all. I just forwarded to a point where I was in the UK.
Yeah,
So-
that blows my mind, that does.
Yeah. But, you know, the idea was what I wanted to do at the time when I was in Cyprus was to transport to another place.
Yeah. And you
But
did.
I did.
You know, when
but
you look at it like that, you
Yeah.
did actually achieve.
didn't vanish and reappear somewhere
you
else.
achieved what you wanted
but
to
my
achieve.
way of doing
But
it.
that was your life. It was here or London, wasn't
Yeah. So that was my consciousness waking up in a different time.
it? Wow.
There you
Well,
go.
on behalf of the listeners, Tina, I have to say, what a fantastic top 10.
Must do this again sometime.
Oh, yeah. Is there anything else? Not right now, but is there anything else that you remember or would go more into detail?
Like, what do you mean?
Like that naughty one?
The naughty one? No.
No. Because that could put your life in danger, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even now, yeah. Dealing
And
with
don't ask
predictions.
us what it is.
Yeah.
Don't ask us what it is.
Predictions with stuff that's got.
Even
you
I
know,
don't know.
bad people
Do
in
I?
it.
You won't put me in that position.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know the details or anything,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I've had a few predictions, and again, like, I just think, why are you telling me? Oh, well, no one's telling me, or are they telling me? I don't know. Oh,
why are you experiencing
yeah,
this situation?
maybe it's just at the time I was very awake.
Yeah.
I didn't have kids on a lot of occasions, or when I was pregnant, I found I was very sensitive to picking things up.
I always say, don't I, mental illness, pregnancies, anything that sort of, oh, there you go, there's your can of pop. Anything that sort of changes your perception of life even, or your willingness to accept things. Something was happening at the time.
Yeah.
Something was
open.
happening. Yeah, something was happening.
All right.
Right, yeah, so you've been brought this fantastic top 10 by the TRNC.
Animal Rescue Family.
Yes, if you'd like to make a donation to, you can hear the dogs, a donation to the guys, you can do it on PayPal.
SOS Dogs 2017 at outlook.com.
Yeah, great. We'll see you next time on a well, we'll have another conversation, but a cosmic conversation. See you next time. Take a look at our other podcasts, and it's goodbye from Marie.
And goodbye from me, Tina. Bye.